What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. I hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. So I was watching Dame Dash's interview on the Art of Dialogue, right? And in that interview, he spoke about Beanie Sigel, right? Beanie Sigel, former head of state property, former Rockefeller artist. And he was speaking about how hurt he was when Beans chose Jay-Z over him. And then he accused Jay-Z of ruining Bean's career. Like, yo, he ruined his career. He destroyed his career. And he basically said that Jay effed Beans over, right? Now, when I sit and think about this, it's very interesting. Jay is one of my favorite rappers all time, right? But I was a big fan of Beans. My uncles, my cousins, my brother and them will be listening to Beanie Sigel a lot. So I was riding around, I was in the car with my cousins while they playing the Truth album, the Reason album. I'm in the car with my cousin, my uncles and them while they playing it. And I developed a love for lyricism and hip hop and gritty hip hop from being around them. And I remember there was discussions around this time if Beans was just as good as Jigga Man. Some people feel like, yo, he can be better than Jay around that time, right? Beans was hot. For real, like he was red hot off the press. He was spitting, like he was rapping for real. And dude, like, damn, he the one. People was looking like, yo, that's Jay real protege, not Bleak. And Bleak wasn't terrible, but Bleak was billed as the second coming of Jay-Z, and he never was that. You know what I mean? But Beans, he had that shit for real. Like he really was talking that talk. And then, Beans found himself in some legal trouble, and he never got to the point of where people thought he could get to. But I don't think that's because of Jay-Z. You feel me? And again, while being a Jay-Z fan, I told y'all, I'm not a person that thinks Jay is above reproach. I don't think he's a person that should not be criticized and cannot be criticized. I've agreed with the Jigga Man on certain things. I've defended the Jigga Man on certain things. And certain things I have not defended. I've went against Jigga. You feel me? I acknowledge that Jay is a humongous capitalist, right? I got on Jigga as one of Jigga's biggest fans. I was getting on Jigga about that whole situation with the Super Bowl and how he basically told everybody not to perform at the Super Bowl, Jermaine Dupri and all of them, and then he went and did a deal the following year with the Super Bowl with Roger Goodell and the NFL to be over the Super Bowl when nothing had changed. Nothing had changed at all. Colin Kaepernick was still jobless, and then Jigga went out there and told the world, we past kneeling. He was out there talking like, what are you going to do? We're past kneeling now. And I was like, huh? What the fuck, Jigga? You out here talking in circles because it look crazy. But anyway, with me saying all of that, I don't think it's Jigga's fault that Beans didn't reach the level that everybody thought he could reach. It was Beans' own fault. Beans was getting into trouble so consistent. Like he was consistently getting into trouble in the streets at the height of his career. Like at peaks of his career, he was getting in trouble with the law, all of that to the point where Dame even spoke about it. Like, yo, we thought Beans was gonna go to jail for some years. You know what I mean? And he like, yo, it was just like he was getting into some trouble at times. And like for real, Beans prioritized being a street dude over being a businessman. And it was evident, like, even when Wayno used to be around Rockefeller State Property. Y'all know Wayno, media personality, used to be on Everyday Struggle. He got his own YouTube channel doing this thing. Wayno spoke about where Beans would be outside on the block to 3, 4 in the morning just so he could say he was living his raps for real. He would be on the block, all into all type of mess, just so he could say he was really, really living his raps because you know how the hip-hop made it seem like, hey, it's not credible. You're not a credible source unless you really live in what you're saying. And Beans wanted to really live what he was saying. You feel me? He was a street dude and he relished in being a street dude. And that was the beginning of his downfall. I can run off. And I looked this up. All the stuff that Beans got into. You feel me? And I'm going to say this too. First, let me say this. Accountability of your own actions is key to success. Accountability for your own actions. You got to take accountability. Y'all. I kept on getting into crazy stuff. And he bragged about it. Matter of fact, when he was on the Breakfast Club and him and Charlamagne got into a back and forth, he like, yo, getting in shootouts in front of the police and all of that at the height of my career. You will never understand that. You don't know nothing about that. You don't come from my world. And Charlamagne was like, yeah, you right. I'm glad I did not get into this. My man's ran down his whole criminal resume on the Breakfast Club like that was like resume. I'm sorry. He ran down his whole criminal rap sheet like it was a resume, like it was something to be proud of. And I'm like, Beans, no. And as a fan of Beans, I'm like, dog, what are you doing? Now, I will say this, though. Beans was the muscle for state property. He spoke about protecting Kanye in the studio when some dudes was trying to press Kanye. And some can say Jay liked Beans being muscle for him in the crew. He liked that. I think he really did like that aura, the street aura around Beans, right? But what went south is what people say Jay messed over Beans when Beans revealed to the world. Beans meaning Beanie Sigel. I'm sorry, for those who don't know. When Beanie Sigel say, the judge, when he got in trouble, asked him, are you going to be responsible for Mr. Grant? I believe his name is Dwight Grant. Will you be responsible for him? He asked Jay-Z that, and Jay-Z said, no, I won't. Now, some people would say, damn, Jay, that's fucked up. That's your man's. He out here, he being a muscle for state property. He getting into wars with you and with other rappers. Wars that could have went south. Them getting into it with the Locks, this shit could have went left at any turn with Sheik and Jadakiss and Styles P. You feel me? Shit could have went left. The way they was going at each other, and people say, yo, Jigga Man sent them to go get down. He sent Beans them to go do that dirty work for him, right? But at the same time, Beans was getting into trouble before then, after that, well after that. And I'm going to run down stuff Beans was doing. 2002, Beans was arrested and charged with a federal weapons charge in West Philadelphia. He eventually served a year in federal prison for this, right? 2003, Beans was arrested in January 2003 after allegedly punching a 53-year-old man in the face, fracturing his eye socket. July 3rd, 2003, Beans turned himself in to Philadelphia police and was charged with attempted murder after allegedly firing 6 shots from a 9mm handgun at a club door, injuring 2 people in the process, right? 2004, Beans was convicted of federal weapons charge. That was from 2002, right? And then August 15, 2009, this is well after The Rock had dismantled, well after state property was over with, well after Jay and Dame went their separate ways. Beans was arrested on a drug possession charge while traveling to a concert in New Jersey. Then August 29, 2012, 2 weeks before reporting to prison, Beans was arrested again in Philadelphia on drug, weapons, and conspiracy charges. So I get what some people saying, yo, damn, Jay, you told the judge you ain't gonna be responsible for him at all. But then I think about it like, damn, no. Beans kept getting in trouble after that. And he's like, yo, you can't. He was too much of a wild card to really put your name on and say I can vouch for him. And he do some wild shit. Would it have fallen on Jigga if he got into some trouble? You know what I mean? So it's like, I get people like, yo, that's your man. He was a muscle for y'all, and he was getting into rap beats for you. And I get that, too. I'm like, damn, Jay, you could have said, yeah, I'm going to be responsible for him. But at the same time, Beans kept getting into trouble, and he relished in being a street dude. He wanted to be on the block all day. You feel me? All day and night so he can say that shit in his raps and so it can feel authentic to him. And I think he liked being a goon over everything. You know what I'm saying? He liked to be a goon. He liked being a goon over a businessman. And that was the downfall of him. At his height, again, like he said on the Breakfast Club, at the height of my career, getting into shootouts, shooting at dudes and punching people and carrying weapons and drugs and all of that. And once you get to a certain level, you got to get beyond that. You can't hold on to the grass and reach for the stars at the same time. You got to let that street shit go. And Beans failed to do that. So I don't think it's